The Wall Street Journal is reporting that testimonies from some of the abducted Kankara boys have revealed that ransom was paid before they were freed. But the Nigerian government said that no ransom was paid to free the 334 kidnapped students. The Wall Street Journal, quoting 3 of the 344 boys interviewed, is saying that the kidnappers told them a ransom had been paid for their release. It also quoted someone who was familiar with talks between the kidnappers and the government as saying a sizable sum was paid in 3 batches for the boys' freedom. The students were kidnapped from Government Science Secondary School, Kankara in Katsina State, by suspected bandits on December 11, 2020. Well, for more on the security situation in Nigeria, as well as the outlook for 2021, we'll have Dr. Asukwo Archibong. He's a lawyer and former presidential candidate. Asukwo, Dr. Asukwo, glad to have you join us. Well,
thank you.
Good.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Good. I remember that in one of the interviews, the boy said that he was told to say that they were Boko Haram. Could this be the same? Because the report of the journal is saying that one of the boys interviewed said that ransom was paid. Could it be some of the same, or what is your sense of what the journal is reporting?
Well, when you begin to have a young person that was actually kidnapped, telling what transpired from his point of view, you may actually begin to experience disinformation from those that actually kidnapped the victim. So it's not exactly clear if this was Boko Haram, although Boko Haram has a history of kidnapping, killing, murdering persons in the northern part of Nigeria. But this moved a little bit farther away from the natural region where Boko Haram operates, although Boko Haram is beginning to spread all across the northern part of Nigeria. It's likely it was Boko Haram, but if I would really rather see a strong evidence that indicates that it was Boko Haram that engaged in this. If the only evidence is the words of a young boy, a traumatized victim of the kidnapping itself, I would take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. I was actually talking about it's been established it was not Boko Haram, but I was talking about what the journal is reporting, that ransom was paid according to what the boy told them. That was actually what I was referring to. So your sense of that. Yeah, go on.
Well, there's been a lot of confusion as to what actually transpired. There was a certain story that the Nigerian army came out and said they rescued the boys. There was a certain story that the boys were released. And now there's a story of ransom being paid. It's not really clear what actually transpired if ransom was really paid. Nigeria has a policy of not paying ransom to kidnappers for the release of hostages or exchanging anything of value to persons that have kidnapped Nigerians. That does not mean that there's not been backdoor channels that has, passed through certain things that has actually facilitated the release of those that have been kidnapped by kidnappers, bandits in certain parts of Nigeria. The idea that ransom was paid for the release of these young boys, these victims, rather is troubling. The report that ransom was paid is troubling. And I would ask that more should be done in terms of investigating if ransom was actually paid and establish if really ransom was paid. And let us now begin to really practice what we have as our law.
Okay,
not paying ransom for the release.
Yeah, troubling would be the right word there, because when you observe the recent case in a village not far from there, where the local head was killed or shot, there's an impunity to the way they're going about it. So would you say these differing accounts speak towards, when you speak of impunity, is there something in the way we're handling the security issue that is lending towards this impunity with which the bandits are going about their business?
Well, yes, there is. One, the Nigerian police force is not really equipped to battle Boko Haram, to battle the bandits, battle cattle rearers, herdsmen, farmers clash, to battle kidnappers, to battle maritime violence in the south part of Nigeria. And the military is not really equipped as of now. It's stretched all over Nigeria, while it is also helping to protect very important persons and also battling Boko Haram and also battling bandits. The military is being drawn into the domestic affairs of Nigeria at a rate that is unprecedented, in a manner that is unprecedented. What we are seeing here is a devolution of the country in terms of the security structure, is a breakdown of the laws of this country that holds us together in terms of the protection of oneself in the Federation of Nigeria. That is beginning to break down. Not enough is being done. Now, it's easy to say not enough is being done. What can be done? We can actually begin the process of better equipping the Nigerian police force so it will meet its obligation towards the Nigerian citizen. Every citizen deserves to be protected by the Nigerian police force. When you have the heads of a village, the heads of a local government, the heads of any parastatal or any entity in Nigeria being kidnapped or being murdered, that should really, really be very troubling to each and every one of us. These are things that we never used to happen in Nigeria, and we used to read of them happening in far and distant places of other countries in the world. These things are beginning to happen here, and we really need to sit back and say, what do we need to do? And we, as a prerequisite, we should start with the things that I have enumerated and begin to think very critically if it is time for us to bring local policing into how we police the Federation of Nigeria, how we police the states in Nigeria, and how we police the different local governments and cities in Nigeria.
You're talking about restructuring there, of course. Bandits did attack again. About 22 in Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Kaduna, 8 killed in Kaduna, and then passengers in commercial bus abducted in Edo State. The bandits, Dr. Asukwo, seem to be emboldened. One is wondering, why are they so emboldened? A security consultant said that negotiating with bandits creates an atmosphere for more of same. But it's like being, at a point where you don't know which way to go, what to do. If you don't want to negotiate, then what is the next best thing to do to get these boys or girls out? So tackle all this, take all this in your stride there, Dr. Asukwo.
Well, this thing is not so difficult. Let us look at what other countries are doing. Let's look at what the United States is doing. Let's look at what Great Britain is doing. Let's look at what France is doing. Even let's look at what Mexico has done. It suffered a great deal of violence in the early 2000s. Let's look at what Canada is doing. Some of these countries are doing the right thing to tackle these issues. And then let's come back home and compare what is happening in Nigeria. It's going to be exceedingly difficult to tackle the issues of banditry, which has become a catch-all phrase for kidnapping, for murder, for rapes, for carjacking, for home invasion, for theft, for armed robbery. It's become a catch-all phrase. It's going to be almost impossible to tackle this, except we bring our youth to the point whereby they have a hope for tomorrow, whereby they begin to see a future for themselves in the Federation of Nigeria. If a person is promised an education in Nigeria, and after that education, there is an expectation that they will have a job. If a majority of the people coming out of the universities, which is shut down, most of them are shut down anyway, and having gone through 1 year of national service, which is the youth service to Nigeria, and then after finishing all of this, they are moribund at home. They are just jobless. It's the idle mind is the devil's workshop. If you don't have people who are engaged, and all through their lives they've been engaged academically, you have a problem. If you have people who have fallen even out of the academic system, you have a problem. If you have people who have never had the opportunity to be engaged in the academic system, you have a problem. You have people that have fallen out of the economic growth of the Federation of Nigeria, you have a problem. We have an exploding population. There are so many Nigerians that places that never used to have people inhabiting them now do have people inhabiting them. There is so much hunger, there is so much anger, there is so much strife amongst the youth in the Federation of Nigeria that it's easy for most of them, thank God not all of them, and thank God not a majority of them. But we're beginning to see a great number of these youths transition from being peaceful to being very, very violent.
Okay, Dr. Asukwo, you also brought up the issue of causative, the reasons why you have people easily being recruited. But is it not important that we tackle this problem from at the right point? You mentioned local policing, and we know that in one of the cases where they tried to abduct again, a week after the Kankara incident, they said that it was the local police, or vigilante sort of community group that stalled that. So, but some have said that if you go towards local policing without putting in the right checks and balances, it may resort to a kind of vigilante situation where you will only aggravate the situation. So is it not important that we tackle this thing correctly and systematically so we're not reacting, so to speak?
Well, I'll put it this way. A few years ago, they said that the credit card industry will never succeed in Nigeria because you are going to have people defraud the bank. You are going to have people steal money from the ATM. You are going to have people defraud other users of the ATM, and point of sale machines will not work in Nigeria. All those things, when it was actually put into practice, proved that all these allegations and fears were false and were wrong and never did materialize. Well, we have tried the federal method of policing. I don't think there is any meaningful or serious debate as to the fact that it has not really succeeded. Let us give another look at local policing, and let us, at the point that we give the second look, really look at the laws that will govern local policing. I do admit that there are genuine fears that the local police force might be hijacked by some local politicians. Well, it is also said that at the federal level, some very powerful politicians have been able to hijack the federal police force. So these same allegations are already playing out with the federal police force. There might be some level of misconduct at the local police force. Well, there was a high degree of misconduct at the federal police force level, to the extent that there were riots and complaints earlier in the year leading to the scrapping of SARS. So these things should not keep us from actually taking a second look. I'm not suggesting that we need to create a local police force immediately, but let's look at it and see how it will play out in the Federation of Nigeria for the benefit of the Republic of Nigeria, and most significantly for the benefit of Nigerians, including yours sincerely, and you as well, and every other person that is in this country.
Before we let you go, Dr. Asukwo, well, you briefly mentioned people not going to school, out of school and stuff. Well, ASU has called off strike, but with a caveat. They're saying by February, if government reneges on their agreement, they will go back to the trenches. Why is this such an intractable problem? What's the way out? Even the NASU, by the way, are threatening to go on strike.
Well, there is a very simple solution to this, the issue of strikes. Get the politicians to have their children in the universities in Nigeria, in the secondary schools in Nigeria. No serving politician in whatever capacity should be allowed, permitted to take their children outside of the Federation of Nigeria. Let them enjoy a fantastic educational system. If you really look at what these folks are striking for, it's not necessarily an increase in their salary, an increase in their emoluments, an increase in their benefits. It's just, these are things that will help to improve the educational system of Nigeria.
Dr. Asukwo, we'll have to leave it there. I think you hit the nail on the head there with your last statement. We'll have to agree with you on that.